Jibat. Okay, so we are live with the second episode of Jibat podcast. Today we have with us our first guest who has finally agreed to do this, and it's always a pleasure to have you, sir.
My pleasure, absolutely.
So this the format of this podcast is there is no format technically. It's just us talking to each other, ranting about things. Usually we try to keep it in the guest's vocational proficiency area. कि जो गेस्ट होते हैं उनके हिसाब से I don't know, I am fumbling today. I just had my second vaccine today, second shot, and I am a bit under the weather. So let's hope it doesn't affect the kind of audio and video we are going to put out today. Because this is not an interview, sir, we usually would want the guest to tell us more about their own accomplishments in life. I know a lot of things.
My number one accomplishment is that I've been married for 32 years now.
That is surely an accomplishment. Considering the fact that people today are seeing marriage in a completely different light. I know people who are from the millennial age group and still are accustomed to arranged marriages and all. But most people don't see arranged marriages as a possibility today. Like you have kids of your own. How would you like them to get married? I remember there was this one moment which I have to say it out loud. Okay, it was fun because you said it the day it was like your valedictory function at our company, and you said it pretty explicitly, saying that I am happy if my son gets home a daughter-in-law. Is that true? How true is that?
I very vividly remember this. I said my grandparents, they were very particular that there should be no intercaste marriages.
Okay.
Very particular. Same caste ka hi hona chahiye.
Okay.
My parents were a little bit more flexible. They said that, look, as long as you get somebody from a good family, etc., we're okay with whoever you get married to. I think in my generation, with your age kids, we people are more concerned that if you're a ladka, so as long as tu ladki la raha hai, so I'm happy, you know. The other way is a little bit not so acceptable. I don't want to say anything is wrong with that, but not so acceptable. I think by the time you guys have children, you will probably say that, yaar, humans leke aana. Robots leke mat aana, you know, because they'll be so human-like at that point of time. So, yeah, I think time changes, and this is what is my take as far as what you remember.
The world is growing. I don't know. Do you watch OTT apps, like videos on OTT platforms, Netflix, Hotstar, and all that stuff?
So after the shutdown last year, sometime in first week of April, when the Jhadu Pota was being done by everybody in the family, my wife told me and my son that you guys have to do even what do you call that? Dusting, you know, just Jhadu Pota is not good enough. So me and my son were doing dusting for the first time, and we happened to topple over our TV, which broke in April last year. We don't have a TV since then. So everybody is on OTT. And you name the OTT is being used. Like I finished the 6 episodes of Loki last night. And
you did?
I did.
You saw Loki.
Yeah. So I finished it last night. It was obviously like this with headphones on. While my wife was watching MasterChef.
Okay. MasterChef के लिए, sir, I had this very weird incident when I went to Australia to visit my sister. So MasterChef में there was this Chinese contestant who was a part of it, and I think she was a part of MasterChef Australia. Not because I was in Australia, it was the show. And we actually happened to cross her at this place called CBD, यानी जो वहाँ की Central Business District है. And I saw her, and I was trying to convince my elder sister that she's the same person. And she immediately got furious. She's like, you are typecasting people based on their Chinese origins just because they have almond-shaped eyes. That doesn't mean it's the same person you saw on TV. And I was like, I actually went there and asked her, and she was like, yes, I'm the same person. So it happens. That's the only connection I have to MasterChef Australia. For Loki, sir, I have quite many things to say. Did you understand the DB Cooper reference?
No.
Okay.
So let me tell you something.
Yeah.
My memory is very bad.
Okay.
I am not a television or a movie, you know, into it in depth. Like you guys might sit and talk about every episode. I was listening to my son and my daughter talking about the backstories that are possible, etc. Now, for me, backstory was a word that I heard a couple of days back. So, please excuse me. I do not understand these references, and I do not remember movies.
But that's what makes Marvel Cinematic Universe. They have this very key strategy to market their movies in India.
I love the depth with which there's certain
totally
things that were so profound, you know.
Yes.
Like, it reminded me a lot of the Matrix movies. You know? You sometimes wonder, could this really be true?
Yep.
You know, I mean, even Loki made me feel, could this really be true?
Yes, totally.
You know, so it's a little jarring, and that's what excites me. Not those backstories or those small things that are there. So, like my daughter was telling us that this is going to be something which could be referenced in the future movies. You know, I don't understand all that.
हो सकता है, they are creating a cinematic universe, so they usually try to do that. But they have this key strategy of marketing their movies in India, which is कुछ भी Indian reference डाल दो. Say for example, एक Deadpool करके movie थी. They started the movie with मेरा जूता है जापानी song from Raj Kapoor's song.
India is such a big market.
Such a small thing. Exactly. They can't.
English speaking market. You can't afford
totally.
To leave it.
मतलब the total tickets sold in Ahmedabad in a day वो US का total monthly collection नहीं होगा.
That's what I heard. Yes. So, I mean, it's crazy. And these movies are good. I hope our Indian movies also start. Indian serials are becoming very interesting.
Crazy.
They're very interesting and very good. Let's see how it goes.
In depth. So, sir, based on your vocation, what was your experience at working at Times of India like? Because in our city, whenever someone says Times of India, it's synonymous with you. Like every time I have seen someone speak about TOI, it has been
no
like
other reason.
वहाँ काम करते
No
हैं.
other reason, but because I worked there for a very long time. So 20 years is a long time. So I worked there for 20 years. So obviously, and it being such a profession that you have to meet people and people have to meet you. So that's why. So it's probably not because of Animesh, but because it's a professional hazard. You know, people know because you have to work there. You have to meet people. Now, if you're asking me what was my experience with Times of India. Absolutely fantastic, superb. There is a very specific reason why they are good, and that is because their thinking is very good. You have two kinds of people in this world: people who are leaders and people who are followers. Now, both of them need different mindsets. Okay, Times of India is an absolute leadership or leader mindset. They lead from the front. They are not scared of making mistakes. A follower is always emulating somebody, copying somebody, saying उसने किया तो मुझे भी करना है. अच्छा उसने ये कर दिया मैं डर गया. उसने अच्छा किया मैंने ज़्यादा अच्छा किया तो मैं अच्छा हो गया. You know, so that a follower will always remain a follower because he doesn't have that mindset. Whereas a leader has that mindset of serving the customers the way it is required. What is it that can be done to serve the customers that is required, and having the guts and the gumption to do it. Times of India has the guts, it has the gumption, and it has the courage to make mistakes. And at the end of the day, it's the bosses who have the minds and the intellect to be able to sit down, take decisions, and implement them. So, what is my experience with Times? Absolutely fantastic. I was lucky to have worked with them, lucky to have learned how to have a leadership mentality, how to not be scared, and what is the worst that could happen?
Yeah,
you'll fail. Nobody's going to put you to hell or hang you for anything.
Definitely.
So the worst thing that could happen is you could
it taught you failure also in some way.
Yeah, we learned failure right, left, and center, but we were not scared of it. So the objective was very straightforward. You have an audience, and you have to serve that audience. And that audience is somebody who wants to connect. Somebody wants to connect to that audience, and that's where you make your money from. So, was Times of India ever in the business of selling space?
Okay.
No.
Magic bricks and
no. So
like
space is I'm selling a square feet. Okay. So I'm selling square centimeters on the advertisement.
I have had bad experiences with that.
So no. Times was never in the business of selling space as per square centimeter.
Yeah.
Times was in the business of selling the audience to the people who wanted to connect to that audience.
I've worked on a lot of coffee table books that we create for niche segment of audiences. Say for example, we did this one thing with specifically for the doctors of the city, and the kind of editorial material that we were pushed to create as writers. I'm at a very tertiary level in the ecosystem, but the kind of content we were pushed to write, it was epic. Like we gave our clients a coffee table book that they could flaunt in their offices, placement on a prime piece of page in the newspaper, and like an award ceremony to go with it, so that they could include their colleagues, their family members, and give them something to show off.
So that's the intelligence that they use.
Yep,
that's
totally.
the kind of mind that they use, which is what makes it what it is. It is going to be very, very difficult for most people in the world to copy that. Just for your information, most businesses in India benchmark against some business in some of the first world countries.
Yeah. Our model is benchmark.
Most newspapers in the world benchmark with Times of India. It's a proud thing for Indians, and they're doing a phenomenal job. I mean, some of the guys sitting at the top are.
Have you recently? I think Indu Jain passed away, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that was a big loss. My dad came up to me and he's like, "You lost a top leadership today, and a leader today." And I was like, "Okay." Have you had a chance to?
I've had the chance of meeting her in Baroda, in Baroda when she had come to Baroda briefly.
Okay.
And had the opportunity to take a photograph with her.
Oh.
She did not talk business. She didn't talk work. She didn't talk any of those things. Very, very spiritual lady.
Yep.
And it was a pleasure to meet her. Just one thing that I remember from that time. She was standing in the reception and all of us were surrounding the editorial team and everybody was standing over there and we were welcoming her and she was saying, "Acha, this is your office. Very nice. Very good. So how are things?" So that was a period, I don't remember the exact period, but that was a period where most people had holidays.
Okay.
But the editorial people didn't have holidays because they had to work. So one of the editorial person over there said, कि मैम सब लोग छुट्टी पे हैं और हमको छुट्टी नहीं मिलेगी. So she looked at that person, smiled. सब कर्मों का फल है बेटा. Oh my God, it was such a hilarious moment. Everybody was spellbound. Everybody was shut up. Okay, I'm going through whatever I'm going through because of my choices or whatever I have done, you know. And yeah.
Walking into the editorial team, that is the karam, and iska fal is not getting holidays.
You made the choices that you made and that's why you're there, and therefore it is like this.
I know that's what happens to me also when I try to write. People are like, public holidays mein to you don't have work, right? I'm like, that's the day we have to work the most because if it's Rath Yatra, we have to write about Rath Yatra. So and yeah, that. So coming to a very important point which has always perplexed me in some manner or the other. Do you think print media is going to die out, like completely get extinguished in the next decade or so?
So I will give you a yes and I'll give you a no. I'll give you both the answers.
That is interesting.
I will tell you why it will die.
Okay.
And I will also tell you why it won't die.
Okay.
And both of them are right and both of them are true. Like you see these kind of movies, there are two ways and people choose which way. So God knows which way it will go. So what would you prefer? Why it will die? Okay. Let me tell you a very easy answer why it will die. Obviously, because of digital.
Yeah.
You get everything on your phone all the time.
Yes.
And it's easy. And whatever you like, you keep getting more of it. So it's fun. Okay. And you get free and you get paid. You want more, you get more. You want less, you get less. So it's kind of brilliant. I mean, it's so much of convenience over there. So digital will kill it. There is another reason why there could be a problem with print not surviving. I don't know whether you are an early riser. You don't look like a kind who get up early in the morning. But if you were to see the person who used to throw the newspaper at your place about 10, 12 years, 15 years back, used to be somewhere in his teens or early 20s.
Yes, mostly.
If you see the newspaper person who throws the newspaper today in your house, it is the same guy but who is now around his 30s. Unless it's an exception to your place. So
the delivery method is getting compromised because...
The problem is that today's kids want to go and work in a mall or want to work in a food delivery place, etc., where he's getting the similar kind of money or slightly more money.
Yeah, yeah.
If he's even remotely intelligent and has a little bit of communication skills, he would rather do that than to go through the newspapers.
100%.
Problem is going to be that you're not going to be having enough people to throw the newspapers at
Papers
your
eventually,
place
yeah.
who are getting money which is enough to sustain. So therefore you will have a problem, is one of the things that I am personally thinking. Of course, digital is another reason, but I think this is a bigger reason.
Yep.
Okay, so that is the reason as to why I think that newspapers, print media will not survive for too long. Let me tell you why I think it will survive.
Yep.
I don't know whether the circulations will go up or down or whatever, but it will reasonably survive, more or less the same place where it is right now. Humans are social animals. We need to interact with each other. We need to talk to each other. And when we talk to each other, we need to share information. Sometimes you speak what you are speaking, I need to know about it. And I need to add to it. Sometimes I speak something, you need to add to it. So that means we need to have general knowledge. With digital, what happens is you get more and more of what you are consuming anyways. So if you're a Messi fan, or if you're a English Premier League, if you're a Chelsea fan, you know everything about Chelsea, but you don't know anything about anything else.
Totally.
Okay, because you're consuming exactly what you like to consume. So the moment you go into a social circumstance where somebody is talking about interior design, I'm like dumbfounded. I have no idea what he's talking about, and I can't contribute. Or if somebody talks about business or gifting or something, I have no idea. I just keep quiet and I don't say anything. Whereas humans do need to interact. So therefore, aggregated factual information is very important. And newspaper gives that.
Like empirical, common to all.
Print gives that. I can keep flipping the pages and I can keep reading the headlines, not go into depth. But because I've heard you speaking about something and I come across the same thing, I can go into it. Okay, and then I can, next time I meet or talk to somebody, I can contribute, which I need to do. So that aggregated quality information that you're talking about, that print will give you much better at this point of time than what digital gives you.
I can add to this actually, because digital media has algorithms in place, right? So if you're a Messi fan, like you said,
you keep seeing Messi.
You'll keep seeing Messi more and more. So it restricts the amount of variety that you get in the content you read.
Absolutely.
Since you've been in the oratory world since quite long, what would be that one experience which you did not like and you were in front of a mass of people, like standing on a stage, probably something that you did not
enjoy or not very happy with?
Something like that, yeah.
Okay, so a lot of people introduce me and talk about Animesh Bhatt and say that he's a TEDx speaker.
Okay.
Wonderful experience. It was very well set up. It was extremely well organized. It was videographed very beautifully, sound excellent, everything very nice. One of my not very good experiences, one of my not very good talks, though that's the most viewed talks of mine on YouTube, on the TEDx.
How many views?
I don't remember. I haven't seen it for a very long time.
Okay, we can pull that up later on and check it out.
So I don't remember about how many views have been there, but quite a lot. My largest.
Okay.
Obviously, because it was posted on TEDx.
Yep.
I was the first speaker amongst the group of speakers that was there. And I was told that you were supposed to speak for about anywhere between 15 to 20 minutes.
Okay.
The subject was nice. I was very happy to talk about it. I had done a lot of research. I had learned a lot of things. And I was looking forward to
that the one, sir?
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay.
It's about more than 10,000
that is great.
Okay.
Sir, people in my industry, if I break 500 views, I am happy. That's the kind of thing it is right now. Yes, sir, so continue.
So I was the first speaker, so I was asked to go to the stage and start. And I was aware that I was supposed to speak for 15 to 20 minutes.
Okay.
It just so happened that I was not aware that right in front of you, there's going to be a small computer screen, which started at 20 minutes and would roll down to 0 minutes. So there was a reverse, what is it called? Timer. It was a reverse timer. And from that moment onwards, I was looking at the audience talking, and I was looking at that particular place, whether my time is over or not, or am I going in the right time? All my life, if I knew that I was to speak for 15 to 20 minutes, I knew how to look at my watch without being obvious about it and talk.
Yeah.
Now suddenly I was looking at that particular place which was constantly ticking in front of me, 10, 9, 8, 7, and I was very distracted.
That can be a nightmare.
And unfortunately, I was not aware about that. And therefore, I think that the topic was very interesting. It is still being discussed. It's still being talked about. I think it is very relevant to society today. It's going to change societies in a big way. Social media and digital. That's what I was talking about. But it wasn't one of my happiest talks in terms of satisfaction of delivery.
But you like the way that set up the entire thing.
Oh, they had done a brilliant job of setting it up.
Where was this? This was
done at Navrachna University. It was arranged by the students. It was under the rules and regulations of TEDx. And it was arranged by them, and Navrachna students did it, and they did a phenomenal job. They did a very good invitation timing, subject timing, promoting it. Everything was done to the letter. Brilliant job. Brilliant. And please remember, I come from the advertising world. So when I'm saying that somebody's done a very, very good job, I mean, it was professional.
So guys, just to make it clear, Navrachna is not our title sponsor. They haven't given us any money. I would love to have some money from Navrachna, but they did a fantastic job as per sir. And so yeah, that's about TED Talks. But I really think, sir, digital media is taking over the world in a very, very detailed and very manipulative way. Like swaying public opinion has been easiest now. I don't think it has ever been as easy to sway public opinion in favor of someone or against someone more than today. Like what's your take on newspapers' role in shaping public opinion to some extent?
Okay, please understand one thing. If we were to go back a few years, maybe a couple of decades back, then every city had one or two newspapers. You hardly had television channels. You had no digital. Okay. Today, every city has got how many modes of communicating with you? I mean, it is innumerable. Now, they also have a job of ensuring a particular kind of target audience and ensuring a particular kind of eyeballs. Now, previously, people used to give you everything and then used to tell you that you make a judgment on whatever you feel. Today, if I do that, then he's saying this guy does not have an opinion. I mean, I'm reasonably active on social media, and people tell me right, left and center, you must talk politics. I don't. You must talk religion. I don't. You must take sides. I don't. And people say, why don't you do that? If you do that, you'll get more followers. I said, look, I don't want to take sides because that's not who I am. I want people to take their own choice in religion, own choice on politics. But if I rant, people will stop and watch.
Yes,
if I give you galis, people will stop and watch.
100%.
But if I say you're a very nice guy, people say, it's his opinion. He may not be a nice guy. So now people have to take stands to get eyeballs. 100%. So everybody is taking different stands. Whichever captures your imagination, you get stuck over there, and that's the eyeball that I'm trying to hold on to.
Makes sense, yeah.
So
this is not being diplomatic. This is just allowing people to develop their own opinion.
So today, if you want to make a proper informed opinion, then you need to consume 2-3 different kinds of diverse things. And then look at all of them and then decide what you want to do. But otherwise, this is how it has been historically. Right now, it is a little bit more aggravated because the medium of communication is much better.
Plus, the polarization right now is at its peak, I think.
No. It will get more polarized.
It will?
Oh, yes,
you think so?
Yes, of course. Okay. I mean, I don't talk politics, but let's talk about it. Okay. What is the business that politicians are in? They are, it's extremely personal opinion. I could be extremely wrong. I don't know, but this is my opinion. The business of the politicians are to get votes.
Yes.
And come into power.
Yes.
How do I get votes? I create a community and make the community think the way I am thinking and therefore get the votes of that community. Now, if I am winning and you are my opposition, what do you have to do? You have to break this community.
Yes.
So you'll pick up 1 and then 2 and then 3 and then half and then get the majority on that side. So polarization is the only way.
Okay.
My enemy's enemy is my friend.
Age is old notion.
Okay, my enemy's enemy is my friend.
Yep.
If somebody is an enemy of yours, and also my enemy will become friends. That's the easiest way to become friends. So what do I need to do? I need to polarize. If I polarize, I will get votes. Previously, people used to polarize on caste. Today, people polarize on cities. They polarize on a community of doctors or lawyers or chartered accountants or journalists.
It has become very specific. So especially people who are in the public forum, like celebrities, more often than not stand-up comedians. Like, comedy is supposed to be pure. You should be able to joke about anything that you feel is funny and that your audience feels is funny. But the thing about comedians today is they have ventured into spreading out political opinion to the masses, which is masses are gullible. In India, I think the masses are pretty gullible.
It's all about money. If I'm getting the eyeballs, I'm interested. If I'm not getting the eyeballs, I'm not interested. If I give galis about one particular community, and if that is getting me the viewership, I will do it.
Okay. So it's all shop. You think it's all shop?
It's absolutely shop. I mean, if I have a nice comedian who's giving nice, easy jokes and nobody watches,
then it's pointless, yeah.
I mean, if somebody asks me which is a very, very good newspaper, then it is not the Times of India.
Why so?
But Times of India gets read.
Oh.
So it is a good newspaper. There are other newspapers whose editorial is fantastic, who write verbose, very good things, okay? And their English is flawless. And they've got all the right pictures in place. Nobody reads. So what's the point?
So it's based on the consumers that are wanting that content.
Absolutely. We are in an economy where it is money that matters.
I think so.
I will give you what you want.
Yep.
I will give the majority what they want. Because that's why you talked about movies and films where everybody wants to come to India, you want to have a connection over there. Why did you talk about it? Because that's where the money is, that's where the population is.
So in continuation to this, I have a very nice one-liner that I have created myself. So when you are a journalist, do you make news or do news make you? When you are someone who is hardcore writing for news houses.
So let's get this clear first. What is a journalist supposed to do? He's supposed to gather information and project it.
Yep.
He is not supposed to give any opinions.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't think that happens at all.
Some part that is a separate issue. I've got the bosses who coming to me and telling me that this is what is selling right now, this is what is being talked about.
Yep.
There was a time when it was decided that the front page of the newspaper will only have happy pictures. When people get up in the morning, they need to see a happy picture. We will talk about the front page only good news, because why does people want to get up in the morning and read how many rapes and how many this and who killed who and how many accidents and all those kind of things. People don't want to do it. They want to see happy. So let's do that. They did it. It failed.
It failed. I'm pretty sure.
You want to go on third page, you want to see, you say, "Arey, kya rape likhte hain yaar, kya chori ho gaya likhte hain yaar." I don't like it, but you read it.
Yep.
You tell me Rath Yatra, how many articles you read, and you tell me कि अरे उधर बारिश बहुत हुआ बॉम्बे के अंदर और cars सब डूब गए.
Two people sank in a pothole.
Over there and stay there, because that's what is capturing the eyeballs right now. It's unfortunate. I mean, who likes Arnab? Anybody I know says, I don't like that guy. He's fighting all the time. He's screaming. Not good.
He's talking over people.
Not letting people, like I'm doing right now, probably.
No,
I don't know.
You're
but
not.
Okay, so he's talking too much. He's making people fight everywhere, all the time. It's not good. This, that, etc. People watch. Other people have started doing that.
I think he vanished from the scene, right? After that incident.
I don't know. I don't have TV for quite some time. So, but that's because
dusting. Is it because of the dusting you mentioned earlier?
That's because he vanished because he was proven to be guilty of certain things. Probably not yet proven. Wrong statement. But
in Maharashtra, you don't need to prove things. Things get proven anyway.
So maybe his credibility sank because of whatever reasons, and that's why his viewership is less. But people are stuck to the you will watch this television, he will watch that television, he will watch that news, he'll watch a different news, and then they'll get together and fight.
But so okay, that brings me to my next point. Do you think news houses like digital or print media, should they align to a certain political ideology? Like, should they lean left or right in their outview? Like, general, nobody tells the writers to write for a particular party because news is supposed to be unbiased, right? But eventually, at the top level, maybe newspapers lean a certain way and news houses do. Is that okay, or should that be okay?
So you very correctly use that word called supposed to be. That's number one. Yeah. So yes, supposed to be. But is that a fact? No, it's not necessarily a fact. No. Not with everybody, at least. Should they lean? If leaning gets them money, they will lean.
Yeah.
Simple. Is a business in business to do charity? Only if they are in the business of charity.
Yeah.
But if they're not in the business of charity, then they're in the business of making money. So they will make money what the consumer wants. If the consumer doesn't want it, it will stop. That's what the sorry to interrupt, there's a different algorithm that works. If people want that, they will give that.
So I read this very weird theory and I created my own thesis on it. During the British Raj in India, Gandhiji was promoted as a non-violent figure so that the Britishers could exit the country in peace, like without violent protests actually driving them out. So is there a possibility that news houses were used to create a non-violent figure out of someone who was so like patronized as a non-violent figure? Someone was a fakir who walked barefooted, used all methods of non-violence. I know I'm nobody to talk about the MK Gandhi, but I think I came across a theory.
I second that. I am nobody to talk about the MKG as well. But just an opinion, just a thought. I doubt it. Okay. I doubt it because media was not that powerful at that point of time. You couldn't transmit information from one place to another at that speed that is happening right now. Yeah, so it could be corrupted, that information. People could do what they want. So therefore, I do not think that could be the reason. You please understand one thing. What is it that makes a person successful? I don't know whether I'm digressing or not, but talking about Gandhiji, this comes to my mind. Yeah. Okay. You know, one of the very important things is to have the right set of values. And once you have those values, action those values into your everyday living. Okay. If you do that, and if you do that consistently, you will have those labels of those values on you. And therefore, you will be recognized by that. And therefore, people who are attracted to those values will come to you on their own. They will not get confused. Now, if you look at Gandhiji, I don't know whether I have not read much about Gandhiji, but I think I have the... Was he a good father? I don't want you to answer that. Only the viewers who are watching can probably answer. Was he a good father? Was he a good husband? Did he have a good voice? Did he have a good handwriting? Did he wear good clothes and had a fantastic personality?
I like how you put in the handwriting part.
Okay. Yeah, mine is bad too. But I'm not an MKG. Anyways, so did he wear good clothes and had a fantastic personality and good looks? Did he believe in any specific kind of religious things? Was he a great diplomat? Did he have a great political sense? I mean, most of these answers by most people probably is going to be no. Yep. Then what is it that people were following? Who were people following? If none of these things, I mean, he was a great man, fantastic, this, that, etc. But what were people following? My thinking, Gandhiji had three values. Ahimsa, Satya, no, let's say it in the right order. Satya, Ahimsa and Swaraj. Swaraj was represented that. He represented Satya, Ahimsa and Swaraj. That is what captured the imagination of the whole country. It is said that people, when they used to go to him and ask him, Bapu, can we do something like this? Aisa hum kare? So Bapu ye said, Sach bol rahe ho? Bola, haan. Isse hinsa hogi? Bola, nahi. Isse Swaraj milega? Bola, haan. To puchne ki zarurat nahi karo. So then people started following this particular principles, and that's why he became. Today also Gandhiji is known as Satya, Ahimsa and Swaraj.
Exactly. Like
You look at
200 years.
You look at another person that I'm talking about. This lady represented and had one thing in her heart, and that was love. And she wanted to take care of destitute abla naris in one city of Calcutta.
Okay.
She got the Nobel Peace Prize, and she was given the godhood or something of that sort. I'm talking about Mother Teresa.
Yep, I got that.
Just two things. Love in her heart. She wanted to service and give that love to she identified destitute women and children.
Okay, so I'll stop you there. Do you think people with such a level of greatness are born today, or is that a breed that is long gone? I don't think people today have or can carry such virtues in the current scenario.
Why not?
I don't think it's possible. Personally,
You think truth is not possible?
No. I think the world has been whitewashed too much to actually be.
You
okay
think
with
ahimsa is not possible?
Ahimsa is possible. Ahimsa
truth
is
isn't.
possible. Truth is to some extent.
And freedom is impossible.
Freedom
Swaraj.
is impossible because I think freedom of speech today is a joke, because we don't have freedom to think, and freedom of speech in absence of freedom to think is a joke. This is I don't know where I'm wanting to take this.
That's
but
because
let's not take it there, because
that's because you are being influenced by the political influences that there are there, which are saying you can't say this and you can't say that.
Yeah.
You and I can speak and get away with it because you are nobody and I am nobody.
Probably if we speak it in English, maybe, but if we connect to the masses and if the
if you are somebody and if I am somebody and then I say something with a lot of people following me and agreeing with me, then maybe people will say this is right or this is wrong.
Okay, so now we are trying to conclude it. No, what's the time? I think it's been on 7.
It's on to 7.
Okay, and we started at 6. Okay, so we still have some time. Talking about recent news, did you read about Shilpa Shetty's husband?
Yes,
what
I
happened
did.
today?
I did.
So can you pull that up, bro? Do you know what happened?
Yeah, I think it's alleged that he has been involved in pornography.
Videos. He has a wife who is Shilpa Shetty, and I don't know why would he venture out into such a weird field of interest. That too in India. I think sex sells the most, but why would he have to do that? I have no idea about what actually pulled off. But he was picked up by the cops, or something.
See what I mean? This is the kind of news, at least the headlines you'll read.
This will make a headline for sure. It'll be in the buzz for
That's what I'm talking about.
This is gonna sell. People are gonna make memes about this everything. What do you feel?
Memes are already there.
Yeah, memes are already there. I'm pretty sure.
I'll show you a couple.
Why do people do what they do?
What's your take on
no
memes being the new news platform? Do you follow memes?
I do a little bit, not much. I follow.
Do you think it's an effective medium of communicating?
Absolutely,
to the
yes.
Yes.
The attention span of everybody is decreasing right, left, and center, including mine.
Yep.
So you want quick bites of things. You want everything served quickly, and therefore that's what sells. And memes do a fantastic job of communicating fantastic things.
Okay. So, sir, since you are into OTT platforms, I want to tell this one thing to you. When you see a video, there are two ways of watching a movie or a Netflix ka series. One is you actively see it, understand what is going on, and one is when you see it passively. So the difference between knowing whether you're watching it actively or passively is while you are staring at the screen, are you looking at the character's face and understanding his facial gestures and all, or are you just going with what is being heard and what is being seen on the screen? So try doing this. It is the most effective way to get a certain set of people contract ADHD, because when people watch it passively, they see so much content in a day, like so much content. I have known people who have seen एक घंटे के episodes ऐसे दिन में 20.
Oh.
So 24 तो घंटे होते हैं, मतलब कैसे देखे होंगे? So that is passive watching, and that is what kills your attention span. And it's a technique to keep the masses dumb so that they become more suggestible.
So I guess I am being made dumb.
Yes, 100%. 100%. All of us.
I watch it very, very passively.
Yep.
I don't remember. I watch whatever I watch for the purpose of entertainment, and nothing beyond that. So recently I got to know that there are 21 kinds of genres of movies.
Yes, yeah, most definitely.
So I watch action. I watch chick flicks.
You watch chick flicks?
I watch chick flicks because you don't need to think much about it.
Yeah,
They're funny
they have
sometimes.
happy
You laugh
endings
and
and
they end. I don't remember which one I've watched.
Yeah,
but
I wouldn't
I
ask
can't
about that.
read Mills and Boons, but I like chick flicks. I watch action movies.
Mills and Boons is like it's for teenage
I
girls.
tried. I haven't been able to read it, but I like to read. Yes, and I like, for example, Loki. I like the kind of statements and the kind of things that were really
Yes,
profound.
Yes.
So
Totally.
I can't do much of that.
The dialogue writing in Loki is par excellence. It's amazing.
And
बहुत सही है.
the kind of thoughts, I mean, you're not discussing Loki
Yeah,
here,
yeah,
but
we
the
can.
point is that it is very, I like that kind of, I like to consume that kind of things. Otherwise, I like to consume what is,
What's this meme about? It's like Shilpa Shetty lovingly calls Raj Kundra as her.
Pati Porneshwar.
This is pure genius, man. This is pure
This is
genius.
absolutely new. Like this was created like few hours.
Like the Indian masses on social media, sir, have taken the world over. We are a global community because of people like this who are creating memes and stuff that are so global in their approach, and they make headlines all over the world. I remember that one time. Do you remember that Priya Prakash Warrior phase when everyone was
yes,
watching
yes,
that?
yeah, huh.
How is that? Is collective consciousness. Matlab, all yogis that have been talking about collective consciousness. That collective consciousness is the internet. That's what I feel.
Yes, why not?
Raj Kundra's porn name is Kundrala. Oh, this is a very deep one. This is for people who actually watch. So there's a porn star called Kendra Lust, and that's why this is changed it. I'm pretty sure your kids are gonna be damn awkward with the ending of this podcast. Why were you discussing porn, Papa? That's what they're gonna tell you. So we can just cut it short.
Yes, you can expect that because my son specifically, I was hoping that when he grows up, I will be able to sit with him for a drink.
Yeah, does it happen?
It happened some time back, but now he tells me it's not worth it.
Yeah, I agree.
He tells me that, Dad, you need to meditate and you need to do pranayam more regularly and you need to do yoga. I sometimes wonder who is the bap. I'm supposed to be telling you all that. I know.
Great, sir. So we should conclude it, yeah. No, okay. Let's keep it for round 2. So in case we get good viewership on this, we might take it to one more podcast, which will be specific to something else. In case you're up for it, because like you said during the start, people who can't lead, they follow, and this podcast is me following a podcast called Joe Rogan.
Of course.
And I'm a big fan of his, so I've tried to replicate his scenario because I think it's a very effective way of communicating without actually directly talking to the masses. It's like you.
So I
Have
watched
people who
Joe
are-
Rogan a lot,
Yes.
and I must say that he's got his own style,
Yep.
and I must say that he does a fantastic job. He does a
Yes.
superb research, etc.
Amazing.
And having said that, I must tell you that you have your own style, and it's not a Joe Rogan style. Maybe it looks like that,
Yeah.
but you have your own style, which is commendable. And just stick to it. There is an audience there waiting for it, and just be persistent and just stick to it. That's all I have to say. You will evolve eventually to your own style and your own maybe format, even if it's Joe Rogan's format. Nothing wrong with
Yeah.
that. But you will evolve more and more. And yes, I'd love to do this again because I enjoyed talking to you.
Great. I love talking to you, sir. I've always hoped for working alongside you, but we were partitioned by 1 month where you left the company and I joined the company.
I didn't leave
So-
the company. I retired.
You yes.
I retired. It was a good time to retire. Lucky to retire at that time. Happy to have retired.
Okay. So I think we can call it a day. Crew, what say? Everyone is done.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're good.
Done. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for being here.
I'm sure I will be happily telling somebody in a few years from now. I was one of the guys that guy talked to.
I really hope that's the case. If
So
it
that will
happens, I'll
happen.
be great.
Good.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Good.